Once again, California manages to step on every banana peel in the disco. Turns out the Golden State's new minimum wage law is backfiring, giving plenty of good feels for California's elite, but wiping out jobs and hiking prices for the plebs. In short, California is relearning in real time every failed experiment since, about the 1960s, perhaps the 1930s. For those following along at home, 2 months ago, California passed a series of minimum wage laws mandating $20 an hour in fast food and up to $23 an hour in healthcare. Think home care workers or personal aides. Just 2 months in, the law is already turning into a neutron bomb for low-skilled jobs in California, along with the millions of Californians they used to serve. Now, before the law was even passed, fast food companies were warning of mass layoffs that 2 months in have already crossed over 10,000. Pizza Hut laid off 1,000 delivery drivers recently. Chains from Jack in the Box to Pollo Loco announced they'll be investing in automation to replace jobs with machines that more than likely were made in China. Meanwhile, of course, menu prices are soaring. Chipotle, fresh off its fourth price hike in the past 2 years, is looking at another hike of 9%. Across California, hundreds of locations have already closed, with more to come. Of course, these disproportionately hit lower-income neighborhoods who cannot afford the price hikes, hollowing out already gutted commercial areas. Why all the fuss? Well, according to a study by a group of McDonald's franchisees, the mandate raised the cost of operating a single McDonald's by $250,000 per year. Now, given polls say already that 80% of Americans regard McDonald's as a luxury item, they simply cannot absorb the extra cost, meaning either you have to cut staff, you have to replace staff with machines, or you have to close shop. It's worth noting that about half of minimum wage workers are under the age of 25 and living at home. In other words, they're using the job as a springboard as the first rung in the job ladder. That rung is now being knocked out for the young. As one team put it, quote, "If I cost more, why would a company take a risk on hiring me?" The fun does not stop there, because a minimum wage hike on health workers, it turns out, is also wiping out jobs and hiking prices, including prices to the state itself. So California is now projecting a fresh $4 billion hole in state Medicaid spending from the wage hike, while hospitals in California are warning of cuts to patient services. In other words, longer ER wait times. Incidentally, in the face of all this, Governor Newsom proposed exempting state-owned facilities from the minimum wage, principles in action, including fast food restaurants on state property. In other words, as Reason put it, they don't want to eat their own lousy cooking. Shame about the other 90% of Californians. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. What's frustrating about the carnage in California is that government knows minimum wages kill jobs. A 2021 report by the Congressional Budget Office, for example, estimated that minimum wage hikes would cost 1.4 million jobs. Considering that minimum wage is nothing more than a ban on low-skill work, this is really Econ 101. And yet they keep forcing them, presumably because the media plays along and gets them votes. California's endless taxes and environmental mandates were already wiping out low-income workers. So average weekly earnings in California have fallen 2.6% over the past year, while earnings rose 3.2% in Florida and 3.6% in Texas. Instead of throwing these workers a lifeline, California keeps throwing them anvils. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.